Hello and welcome to Labor Lens, where we bring to you update information in the world of work and pay. I am Sharon Ijason. This week we have interesting news stories for you and also update information for those seeking job placements across the country. But before we continue to dig deeper, let's go on a short break. We will be right back.
The clamor for the increase of minimum wage has continued to be on the front burner by Nigerian Labour Congress following the economic downturn in the country. This led to the federal government setting up a committee to come up with a way forward to ensure that Nigerian workers are well rewarded for their labour. For labour leaders, they believe the committee is slow in its duties and allege plans to truncate the process.
This committee, of which I'm the deputy chairman, and of which the NSC president and the labor centers have about 9 representatives, have put up a timetable, and we do expect that by the 3rd quarter of the year, a no minimum wage will be announced for the country.
The legitimate demand for the review of the 18,000 minimum wage is born out of the current reality of high cost of living, free fall of the naira, and high cost of goods and services. The minimum wage of 125 naira was equivalent then to $200. As we speak today, the 18,000 minimum wage is actually less than $50. And therefore, both in quantum and what it can be able to do for Nigerian workers going forward is that this demand is both legitimate and therefore legal.
Speakers at the event stressed the need for Nigerian workers to be fairly treated and want the Nigerian Labour Congress to revive its political party and be part of the decision-making in the country.
Working peoples in our country deserve better electoral processes, deserve better policy processes, and they deserve better governance processes. And all the working peoples in this country and the leaders of the working people in this country need to pay attention to engagement in all of these different spheres and sectors in order to bring remarkable improvements that can address the interests of the working peoples of this country.
We must continue to perfect the skill of negotiation, of persuasion, but it will not bring about fundamental changes. You will need to acquire political power, and you don't need to doubt whether you have that capacity. If a man who is as short as myself can do it, those of you who are 6-footers can do it even faster.
We are the only symbol, the epitome of social change in this country. Our opinion is we need to get back to the drawing board and see how we go beyond our traditional role of just protecting the welfare of workers and the downtrodden, and also be active participants in the political development or evolution of this country.
In 1978, the labor union was born with the aim of advocating and struggling for a better working condition for Nigerian workers. The celebrations saw dignitaries and past labor leaders in attendance.
The Trade Union Congress of Nigeria held its National Executive Council meeting to react to several issues in the country. Among the issues discussed are insecurity in the country, volatile political system, and 2019 election campaign, the lingering fuel crisis, among others. The president of TUC, Boy Kagaima, at the NEC meeting advised state governors who can't address workers' wages to resign.
Only healthy state in this country that has no arrears of salaries and other wages is Lagos State. All the other states have one issue in terms of salaries and wages or the other. There is no exception. And you find out that if it is not 1 month's salary that is not paid, it will be 13 months of gratuity or pension that has not been paid. So I am telling you, taking these issues holistically, we can only say Lagos State government is the only healthy state in this country.
When you have been paid, your Paris fund, bailout funds and everything, and we also know that the president stated that they should look for a way to also make sure that they are paying the workers. And I can continue to say, all those governors, are they being owed salary? Their aides, are they being owed salary? Their commissioners, are they being owed salary? It's ungodly, it's unfair.
Other Labour leaders in attendance at the NEC in session, while calling for the speedy review of the minimum wage, observed that the fight against corruption will not achieve the desired result without addressing the injustice being perpetrated by political office holders who collect multiple pensions and gratuities while still serving government in another capacity.
The fact that federal government had been releasing some money, had it been they have the interest of Nigerian workers, they will have found a way to have paid some of the outstandings. It baffles me that where we are talking about fighting corruption, somebody's gratuity, somebody's pension, somebody's salary is not being paid.
What we are saying is that teachers as a body believe that those states that have not been up to date in meeting their responsibility and obligation to their workers are just being very selfish, because no governor has been owed any entitlement.
The NEC in session, however, called on the federal government to declare emergency in the power sector, as no nation can develop without power. The Trade Union Congress added that a call for tariff hike cannot be a solution and will be resisted. The Nigerian Maritime Labour Act, enacted in 2003 by Nigeria's National Assembly, helped in forming a joint maritime industrial council, which is expected to translate to better working conditions for dock workers, seafarers, NPA workers and others. At this gathering in Lagos, the Nigerian Maritime Workers Union took time to celebrate its immediate past President General, Comrade Anthony Inted, for selfless service and stability in the system. Workers say there was industrial peace and harmony during Inted's 8-year tenure.
Inted is a unique person. When you talk about the maritime industry today, he did a lot to bring peace into that sector, using his own personal finances to ensure we have peace in the industry of the maritime industry. And if we say today, for the past 8 years, he was the President General of the Maritime Workers Union. You seldom see anything like strike in the industry. It's somebody that believes in Jojo.
Well, I would say I'm privileged to be alive, to be part of this celebration, the Thanksgiving to the Almighty God, organized by Comrade Tony Ted Emmanuel, President General Emeritus of the Union, who has toiled day and night to lift himself to where he is today.
The man who took over from him, Comrade Adewale Adeyonju, has very kind words for his predecessor.
Well, he's a wonderful person, and it's an institution that all of us are tapping from. The only thing we wish him is good health and long life to enjoy the fruit of his labor. He's not retired, but not tired. We still want him to continue to support the system that he has built for almost 28 years, and we hope better things will come after it.
Other people here say Labour leaders need to emulate Comrade Inted and ensure that, just like him, they need to collectively bargain for better welfare for workers. On the profile interview segment this week, I will be speaking with the former President General of the Maritime Workers Union. He will be sharing with us his experience as the President of the Union and also his expectations from the maritime sector. Join me. good to have you on the program.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
A lot has been said about you, but I would like you to tell us or share your experience how you got into trade unionism in Nigeria.
Well, I think if I will be able to recall, I was born and brought up from River State. I hailed from a small community called Agut Obolo. And my father was a fisherman. And when we grew to some certain age, he took all of us to Fegedos River in Delta State, where we started the fishing work. And after some time, he took us to Warri, where we started our primary education. We finished with the primary education. We went to the Institute of Continuing Education in Warri. From there, things become very, very difficult. And I started working with K. Chalaram, which is known as KC Nigerian Limited. And it was very difficult, and I tried to care for myself. My father was a fisherman who would not want any of us to go to school. He wanted us to get into fishing, which we said no, it's not going to work, myself and my senior brother. And we decided to manage ourselves with the little way we can. And from there, I joined the Maritime Workers Union. Then it was the dock workers branch of the Maritime Workers Union. We don't have what we call Maritime. It was the major that brought in the Maritime Workers Union we're talking today. The Trade Union Amendment Decree 4 of 1996 brought in the major. Otherwise, before it is the Dock Workers Union. So I was working with the dock workers. They saw me, they said, this man is very productive. We want you to be the head of the 10-man representative. I started from there. As I was doing that, I was saying, I'm going to school. That's how I managed my life until they elected me as the district chairman of the Delta Port, the Warri Dock Workers branch of the union. And after about some few years, I was elected as the zonal vice president in Warri. Then after some years, I don't need to recall the years, and I was elected as the president of the Dock Workers branch. Then from the president of the Dock Workers branch, I was elected the national president of the union, which is the president general. There I worked till my retirement in March last year.
I would like to ask you, knowing fully well that you rose through the ranks, how has this experience you've gotten over the years prepared you to be the President General of Maritime Workers Union?
Yes, of course. I started as a dock worker, the grassroots dock workers. So working as a dock worker will allow you to know the pains the dock workers are going through. So when I get to the leadership position from the lower level to the higher level, I was able to know the challenges of the workers themselves. And that was the more reason why people always said my administration was one of the best, because I was a dock worker. I carry rice, I carry fertilizer, I do all sorts of jobs in the port. So I know the pain they are going through. So when I become leader, I try to go ahead to manage it headlong. That was exactly what I did to make the industry a better place. I introduced so many things while I was dock. I know sickness is one of the worst things that affected the workers in the maritime industry. Because of the job they do, it's full of fatigue. Some of them sick on daily basis. In Warri, I create what we call the emergency chemistry at the emergency chemist at the labor hall. So when you are sick, you go there, you take Panadol and so many other things. And I did a lot of things to the credit of the dock worker, not even to my credit. And today, the whole maritime industry has done very, very well, because I know the pain of the workers. That was why I was able to do little things I have done when I get to leadership position.
The dock workers are known to be people that could be violent at times. Well, you were the president of the dock workers, and when you later become the president general of the Maritime Workers Union, I would like you to share your experience, how you were able to put sanity into the sector and organize the men you were handling.
Yeah, I understand the system. I'm also a victim of circumstances, because in the dock we fought, we settled, people do a lot of pilfering and so on and so forth in the port. But I'll never get myself involved. But I know the situation. I know if we do not do what we did, the industry will not be a better place. First, we put God first. When we came on board, we started doing what we call docker restoration. Some week you find about 1,000 people at the hall. Sometimes you have 500 people. We preach, we teach them about moral. That is the first thing we do. Because some people bring up their children without the moral value. So this is what we do on daily basis. We preach, we let them understand stealing is not acceptable by God. And anybody that break the container or do pilfering in the pot, that person will be suspended from the industry. And that we did. And if you fight on duty, we also give you suspension. And we also know that insubordination to superior is not the right thing to do. So we put them into check that when you insult any of the supervisor or supercargo, you'll be sent out of the industry. So this also brings sanity into the industry. When you do pilfering, we send you home. So there are people that will serve as a deterrent to other dockers who are in the port. So that is how we bring sanity into the system, most especially putting God first. That works for us because each time we talk to them, they understand. There was a day I was preaching in the port, I was talking about love. And I made it clear to them that anybody that tie all these local juju, they always call, go and pull it, otherwise your life will become miserable. I behave like if the angel of God are speaking to me, that I was poured down with the Holy Ghost. So I was talking to them. So many people remove those things and throw it away. And they feel that truly God is talking to me. This is how some of them even came to know God. We do it on a weekly basis and it helped the industry to be what it is today. And we also put some type of what we call discipline. Because we always believe that sometimes discipline is better than persuasion. I go to the port.
Going to that, yeah. You said God first and discipline. How key is this to an average worker across the country?
Yes, let me talk about the maritime industry. I don't know, for maritime industry, the dock workers, the seabed, the Nigerian Post Authority, the shipping members of the maritime vocation are very decent people, because when they commit an offense, you discipline irrespective of where you come from. Even if you are a member of the Maritime Workers Union, we do same to you. If you are from the national office, we do same to you. I'll give you an example what happened in Warri. People went to the port to do pilfering, and we cautioned them. We said, don't do pilfering, is not the best thing to do. People collect money from the bank to import, and you break the container, a lot of things happen to them. They lost. If they lost, God will not be happy with you. They continue again, and we brought them to the labor hall, called the wives, the children to come, and we flogged them in the presence of their wives, so that next time they will not do that. And until I left Warri, pilfering reduced to the bare, not even 1%, to the barest minimum. Though people make a lot of critics. Why must you flog worker in the hall, so on and so on. But we did it so that will serve as a deterrent to those who never want to have a rethink about stealing and so on and so forth. That was what we did.
The issue of collective bargaining was one issue that was disturbing, especially when it comes to workers' welfare before you became the President General of the Maritime Workers Union. Can you share with us what you did to ensure that workers have a good bargain?
Yeah, I think when we came on board, it was very, very bad. Even in my time as a dock worker, nothing to write home about. When you finish with the job, you go home, nothing. But when we came on board, we must give credit to the former MD of Nigerian Post Authority, Alhaji Abu Salam, who met with me and said, Tony, what do we do? There's a lot of disparity in the industry in respect of payment. Some terminal will pay 20,000, while some terminal will pay 5,000. Most of them are on casual basis. That the best thing we need to do is to try to see how we can work out a minimum standard for the dock workers. And that was what we did. We do that negotiation for about 3 months at Akudu when I came on board, and we were able to arrive at a certain figure, even though not too good. But as we started to improve on it year after year, it became a better condition of service for dock workers.
So can you tell us what amount it was before now and what amount it is when you left?
Yeah, I think when we started it was about 50,000 naira per ton. 50,000 per ton, 50 naira per ton, I mean. And it goes to 70, 80, 100, 150, 180. Now it's about 290, 240, 250, all depending on the type of cargo. So we've gone so far. And if not for the global recession, by now, it will have been, we're talking about 300 to 400 per ton. So which is a very good deal for the maritime industry.
So you're popular amongst your members to be someone that believes in training and retraining of workers. I would like you to share with us what training probably you took these members towards ensuring that they improve on themselves.
Yes, for me, I believe training is part of education. And each time, I remember one, we took about 50 people to Dubai, and about 2 people lied down at the airport, and they were crying and said, God, keep on blessing Tony that has brought us here. I've not gone to Abuja before, but I flew international flight. It was interesting. And when the man, we were begging the man, please, let's go, the man was still crying. And I said, this is wonderful. And what we do, just training the trainer. By the time we finish Dubai, those at the key apron will come back and begin to lecture the other people at the key apron. This one also contributed to the peace we witnessed in the industry. Because some people are just blind in the port, living in Nigeria in the port, and when they go out of the country, they see things for themselves. That the people who get to where they are today did not fight, did not do pilfering, they did not break container before they get to where today. So that one gives them kind of mentality, reasoning, to understand that if you work hard with your hands, you can get to destination. This is what we do. And we also believe that training is what we refer to as capacity building. If we do not do that, the industry will just remain blind. Go to the care front today, talk to the dock workers. You will see the way they respond to you. Most are those who have traveled out of the country and those who have gone to series of training. Before, when the dock worker has money, they will spend the money overnight. Not until when I meted the idea of training them. Locally, we train about 6,000 dock workers locally. What is the topic? Life after retirement. And when we do that, we find out that dock worker has a rethink. Some people start to buy the bus. Some people will group themselves together. They get the bus this year. Next year, they will give it to Tony. Some people build a house because I let them understand, if you do not have a place to live, when you retire from service, you will never live a long life. So the best thing to do is for you to build your future. Whatever you get today, you can spend it. But at the exit, if you do not have anything to rely on, you are useless. So when we discuss with them, they come to understand that if they do not do that, their life will become miserable. So the dock workers themselves started giving the same training to their fellow dock workers. If you are not doing well, they will accuse you. They will ask you at the end of the day, what have you achieved? They will ask you. They will come to the hall. People ask questions, what have you achieved? It becomes a competitive business. Everybody wants to achieve something that, oh, when I leave the industry, this is what I'm going to do. So we've done a great job in that regard. That training is very, very important. And the topic we choose for that training is also very important, life after retirement. And the doctors are doing very, very well today.
As someone that spent lots of years in trade unionism, what do you have to say about modern trade unionism in Nigeria?
Okay, it's simple. Like before now, the union we run before now, not my own union, the people I met before now, the union of banking table. I remember our predecessors, when they go to MPA, if nothing happens, they bank table, they fight, they go on strike, they scatter table, I do a lot of things. Even the management are even being threatened. But when we came on board, we adopted what we call the scientific method of running union. We do not believe in banking table. We believe in putting all the scenario on the table and discuss. Common sense will prevail and superior argument will also prevail. That was what we did. And that's why there was sanity everywhere. The MD can call you and say, this is the problem, how you put it to rest immediately. The GM will call you, any other person will call you, stakeholders will call you, because they know that you have the capacity to manage. Not like before when the stakeholders, when unionism, when union people are coming for a conference, people will be running away, you pack police everywhere. But our time, it is not so. It was a scientific union, because we also believe that the union is just like a door. You see outside and also inside. So if the union is too powerful, I always tell them the company closes down. But when the union is too lazy, too weak, the workers will suffer. So you balance it so that the management will be able to make profit to pay staff, while the workers also be able to enjoy. That is the type of union we run.
What's your advice for labor leaders and workers as well?
Yes, my advice is very simple. You know, for some few years ago, what happened between the Nigerian Labour Congress, where they conducted the election, is so sad. If we labor can behave like animals, what are we going to tell the politicians? It's so sad. They fought. They tore the ballot ball as if they were PDP and APC fighting on the battlefield. It's so sad. Until today, they are still fighting. There is faction in the Congress. It should not be so. We need to make a compromise. If whatever the mistake may be, we just let it go so that the labor movement will be very, very strong. So that is my advice for them. They need to bury the hatchet and work together. If we don't have a united labor front, then we cannot confront the government. Talking about minimum wage, talking about a lot of things, Bokara, a lot of things are happening, but nothing happened. Look at the other group, give government ultimatum, they want to go on strike. Then the next day, Ayuba group, just turning labor to a laughing stock, which is very, very bad. So we advise them to have a rethink so that labor could be united. Then for Maritime Workers Union and other labor, I think what we need to do is to know that we represent the downtrodden, we represent the voiceless in an organization. We have to do everything to support them and make sure they live a better life.
Finally, business activities have really crippled at the port due to, many people say, probably due to the bad roads at Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. What's your comment on the state of the road?
For me, you've answered the question. It's just the bad road. Before we talk about bottleneck in the port, we talk about all this, we have a lot of agencies in the port. You have quarantine, custom, police, immigration, son, all, everybody to the inspection on container, thereby delaying the clearing of container in the port. But this one is not issue today. We're talking about the bad road, the access road to the port. So many vessels are diverting to neighboring countries. They are not coming to Nigeria anymore. If you go to Nigeria, they will tell you they are losing a lot of revenue on a daily basis. Every day I use the word that government is not thinking. Where you generate revenue, you allow that place to deteriorate to where it is today. This thing did not degenerate one day. It has been on for a very long period of time. Not even this administration. Long, long time. Successive government. Everything they preach is just theory, no practical. What the question you ask, what is wrong with the government? Sometimes I'll tell you something is wrong with black man. Because the white man won't allow this to happen. Somebody will say black man did not know how to lead. And that is just the truth. Where we are making money, oil will soon go. But the port will remain for time. Now you are killing the port. And the port will die, the oil will go. If you cannot do it, tell Nigerian Port Authority. They will do if they cannot do it. Why not put all the stakeholders together? We have a lot of stakeholders, terminal operators, shipping company, truck owners, and put them together. Tell them what they need to be done. And money will come out to do that job. It's as simple as ABC. Because government alone cannot do anything, everything. But government need to pay priority attention to the port because that is where they generate revenue.
And that's all we can take on today's edition of Labor Lens. Join us next week for a fresh edition of the show. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.